in 24 hours. Shut the front door.
Stressing.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Again, a huge thank you to all of you guys who have supported the channel, all of you guys who watch the videos, all of you guys who comment. I really appreciate it. And I want to give a special shout out to my members. I know I've been very much lacking on the members front this year. I had such big goals until everything went down early this year. But I do want to thank my members. I do have a membership that is $1 a month, and it is simply right now to just support the channel even more. If you really like the content, if you really like these videos, check out the description box and I have my membership information right there. There is a link. But thank you so much because I actually had a few new members that joined. I really appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. And whether you're a member or not, thank you for supporting this channel and allowing YouTube to be a thing for me. Today we are going to talk about Love Island Games episode 10 and episode 12. And if you're wondering why an episode's missing, it's episode 11, which is After Sun. I do not do separate After Sun videos, nor do I talk about it because although I'll watch it, I have it on in the background and there's nothing of substance there. Anyways, let's get in. We have 2 episodes to talk about. And of course, we had a recoupling, we had a dumping, we had a duel, lots and lots to get into. So we are at the beginning of episode 10 with Garby still talking about this entire incident of targeting Lucinda in the game.
And I really do realize it was just a little bit too much. And I understand that, you know, she feels some type of way about it.
She's talking about still how it wasn't on purpose. She didn't mean to. It was just that she really wanted to win. And again, Garby, love you down, girl. You are gorgeous, but just be honest. I'm so tired of people on this show not being honest about stuff. If you were putting it in her bucket, you were putting it in her bucket. Meanwhile, Kendall is having a conversation with Lucinda, who is supposedly his best friend. How many people are best friends in this house that I just did not know anything about it? As far as I thought y'all met at Coachella and then it went nothing further. But now you guys are best friends. Okay. Anyway, Kendall is trying to convince Lucinda that Garby was not coming for her on purpose because Garby knows how much he loves her. He knows how much the two of them have a great relationship and whatnot. So for him, he's just trying to say that it's not like it seemed. It's not like it seemed. Do not believe that she was trying to come for you. And Garby is meanwhile still having a conversation where she does say to some of the girls that she plans to apologize for what she did. Now, Kendall is back telling Lucinda, look, I gotta be honest, it's important that the girl I'm with gets along with my friends. And if she doesn't, that is a huge red flag. That is something I need to take into consideration. And I'm like, Kendall, you will still never beat the allegations for me that you are looking for any reason to get out of this whole thing with Garby. Okay, I think they are both being messy, for the record. I think both Kendall and Garby are doing a lot, but Kendall will still never beat the allegations for me. So sorry. Garby is continuing to tell Andrea that she is genuinely falling for Kendall, and therefore she knows that she needs to make up with, quote unquote, their friends. Now, Johnny, on the other hand, he is feeling a little bit apprehensive. Johnny is essentially letting Ty know that he is feeling Andreina looks-wise. On paper, Andreina has a lot of what he's looking for. The body T, the face T, everything T. But he's just not really feeling that deeper connection or that deeper spark. For him, he does not want to continue to lead Andreina on. He does not want to continue to let her think that things are going well. And on top of that, and the real reason, they've been vulnerable every single time in this game. And for Johnny, it's just become a lot. We've heard him say over these past few episodes that he's really having to carry them, that Andreina's always upset, that yeah, he's the man, he's the Superman, he's coming in and saving her, and he doesn't feel like Andreina is pulling her weight. And I'm like, Johnny, if you don't just say that you want to win that 250 thou wow and Andreina is not going to get you there. But we get the results of the baby bird challenge, and the winning couple, who is also the power couple, is Sydney and Toby. Second safest couple or second place couple is Andreina and Johnny, surprisingly. So everybody else right now is vulnerable. That would make 5 couples vulnerable in this. Lucinda and Zay are talking post-results, post-challenge, and they're just discussing how the whole dynamic has changed with the guys. And of course, Lucinda again is going in about how she feels like Garby doesn't like her. Garby's really fake. It's just too much. I'm like, if y'all two don't just talk, y'all are both vulnerable, so I feel like at this point, you're even Steven. It's not even like she's safe and you're not safe, so there's absolutely no reason for y'all to be holding this grudge against one another. Zay is feeling similar about Josh that Lucinda feels about Garby, that he does really like him, but just not in this game. And again, keep in mind, Josh is another person whose name is constantly coming up. Look, if I had my money on anybody, him and Andrea, they are gonna get very, very far. So they definitely need to take the opportunity when they can, when Josh is vulnerable, and boot him out that villa. Or him and Andrea, they're gonna win the game. But overall for Lucinda, again, she is starting to feel Isaiah. She feels like there's nobody that she's connected with this authentically in the entire game. And I'm like, Mert who? Mert? And she hasn't had anybody that she feels as connected with. Garby and Kendall then attempt to talk again about this situation.
Not like moving it around like, oh, okay, Lucinda and Isaiah are here. I need to spit in that one. That was not how I did it.
So that was just an accident.
And Kendall is basically confronting her and asking once again, tell me the truth. Tell me 100%. Did you target Lucinda? Did you do it? Garby is getting more and more frustrated as the conversation goes on. And that's how you know she lying. And again, love you down, Garby. Gorgeous. But that is definitely how you could tell that Garby is lying, though, because, girl, she was getting very, very upset. She's like, why would I do that? No, I'm not doing that. And Kendall's like, okay, but can you see that me and Lucinda are very close? And I'm like, Kendall, hold on, though, because this is a game for 250 Thou Wow. Are you here for Friendship Island? Are you here to keep your pals? Or are you here to build the supposed connection you claim you have with Garby and win the money? And this is what I'm talking about. I feel like they're both doing a lot. Eventually, though, Garby does actually get up in the middle of this conversation. She says she's getting emotional, that she really can't do this right now. And she goes to take a break. And Kendall, again, not pleased, says, that is not what I want. I don't want somebody where they're going to get up in the middle of a conversation. That's just not somebody that I feel like I can be with. And Justine and Ty, the saga that never ends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cool.
It is definitely pretty awkward, but Ty says on his end, it's no bad blood. It was just a little bruise to the ego. He admits that it did hurt his ego, and that's why he had the reaction he had. Now, Justine, girl, do not. And I'm glad that Justine is not looking at Ty in any kind of real way. Now, two-time Love Island winner Justine needs to maybe look at the possibility of pairing with Ty, even if it's just temporarily, to advance in the games. But Justine, the lover girl, absolutely should not be going for Ty. And I feel like some of y'all in my last video thought I was saying Justine should want to be with Ty in the real world. Absolutely not. This guy is immature and he is messy. But anyways, Ty does say in the confessional, though, that if this was regular Love Island, he would have booted Justine out immediately. He would not have even bothered with this whole thing. But in Love Island games, this is a road bump. It's just a little bit of a misstep. And this is all strategy. All of this, I still want to do the game with you. I still like you. I still want to be with you. It's all part of his master strategy. And he reminds us that Justine will have her day. And I'm like, the plotting is crazy. Johnny and Andreina, and you know Johnny's been going around telling any guy that will listen that he's not feeling Andreina anymore. But he says that he feels really, really bad, and he doesn't want it to seem like they're rubbing in other people's faces that they won the game.
I do not want to be them right now so bad. I feel so bad for them.
And I'm like, Johnny, That's what I was. Johnny is messy. Johnny is so messy. What do you mean? You've been whining this whole entire show. You don't win. You're always vulnerable. If you're not, then it's because of you. You guys have been in the bottom. Now all of a sudden you don't want to talk about the fact that you won because you don't want to quote unquote rub it in other people's faces. Okay. Now, Johnny says that he does not want to continue to lead Andreina on and have her think that things are really, really good when they are not at that point right now. Garby and Lucinda finally talk it out, and Garby does apologize to Lucinda. She lets her know once again that she was not intentionally targeting her during the game. She really just wanted to get the stuff out of her mouth, and she did not know that it was her bucket. Lucinda essentially says that she will forgive, but she will not forget. Deep down inside, she does not think that Garby is a bad person. Garby does get a bit emotional because she does not like that this competition has been used to judge her entire character and to judge the kind of friend she is. But overall, they hug it out. Right now, things are cool. Before bed, Andreina is more confident than ever in Johnny because the two of them won. She comes in and says, look, at this point, I feel like Johnny, he's basically a naturally born leader. And if he says, hey, we're going to go against this person, I'm going to completely listen to him. And you know, Johnny don't like that. Johnny wants Andreina to have her own mind. So that is not something he's trying to hear. Kendall and Garby, they're still on tense terms. They're sleeping on opposite sides of the bed. They got them a little pillow fort going on. And I'm like, you'll get over it. You'll get over it. Okay. So morning comes and Kendall brings Garby a little apology breakfast, a little I'm still with you breakfast, and Garby gives the breakfast away. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. Y'all are forcing it. But Tyreek is conducting Operation Keep Justine close for the games. They are talking. She's massaging him. They're again basically like, okay, why should I trust you? Why should I trust you? Justine does continuously say that she knows she can't trust Tyreek. If he did this to her, she knows that it's not something that she can trust, but Tyreek is trying his hardest. He is really laying it on, again, letting her know. She is the only person that he wants to do these games with. He doesn't want to do these games with someone else, but Tyreek knows that he has a real plot in mind, that he's going to get his lick back with Justine. And I don't like that. I do not like that. End of note, he does not bring her breakfast. Okay, so he's already started Operation I'ma hurt you like you hurt me. And that is some petty ass mess. Excuse my French. So Nicola and Andreina are talking, and Nicola is basically admitting that she does not feel anything romantically for Marvin. However, she will still continue to play the games with him. She will still continue to give it her all, but there's just really not that spark there. So she's definitely going to be open to getting to know someone else. Garby and Justine also have a conversation, and Garby essentially is like, I am so fed up with Kendall. I hate how he questioned my character. I hate how he kept interrogating me, and I am not going to pull him. At this point, I want to see how he's gonna move in this villa, and then I will go from there. Justine essentially encourages her to take note of any red flags that she sees, and if you don't feel right about something, make sure that you pay attention to that. And Johnny finally decides to be direct with Andreina about his feelings.
I just have a hard time opening up to people.
He says that he feels this is a very surface level connection. Right now, he feels like, of course, again, the attraction is there, the physical or the sexual attraction is there, but he feels like he is carrying the conversations all the time. It has gotten extremely draining for him to have to carry everything, and he's just not feeling the spark or feeling as into it as he would. And again, Johnny, I'm like, be so for real. I do believe him. As we've seen Andreina on the TV, so I do believe him that Andreina is a person that is very guarded or very emotional. I do think that. But again, talk about the games. Talk about the games. You know you want to win that money. Andreina tries to come back around and say, look, I know it's a me thing. I know that I'm very guarded. I know that I have a really hard time with opening up to people, but I really want to try with you because I really do value this connection. I really do like this connection. Johnny, you could tell, is already 10 10 toes out the door. He is going for the next person that he can go for. Garby and Kendall have round 1 million of trying again to talk about this Lucinda situation. And Kendall essentially this time tries to go in and basically apologize. He says that he knows that he may have acted in a certain way and he never really intended to interrogate Garby. Garby's not trying to hear it. I will give it to Kendall. I do think in this conversation he was apologizing after doing a lot. So I understand the resistance to hearing it. But Garby's not really feeling Kendall's apology. Kendall does at one point try to say, okay, but do you understand where we both went wrong though? And again, I do agree with that. I think they both went wrong. I think they were both doing some petty stuff. So there, I'm with him. But Garby's like, I feel like he completely missed the mark on where he went wrong. I feel like that apology was not sufficient. So again, coming out of this, they still are not making progress. Kendall says on his end, though, he does not like having a partner that walks away from a situation. He's the type that just wants to squash things when he can. And my thing is, I don't think there's a problem during a conversation if you're getting really heated and you genuinely need a couple of seconds to cool off. In Garby's case, she literally was like, I'm emotional, I'm upset, and then she walked away. But I think that if you appropriately say, hey, I don't really feel like this conversation is being productive right now. I feel like I'm not in a good headspace to have this productive conversation. Can we continue this a little bit later? Obviously, this is Love Island Games, so having days and days and days and days of problems is not really beneficial for this fast-paced environment. But I do think in the real world, it is okay to need space during a tense conversation. I just think if you communicate that, that's where you need to go. And these two, it definitely doesn't seem like they communicate very well. Who was it? Was it Zay the other day that said all these two do is spend time plotting on other people and talking mess rather than actually talking about their connection and their dynamic and their relationship? And I agree. I think we got Andreina and Johnny talking about surface level relationships. Kendall and Garby, very, very surface level relationship as well. But Andreina opens up to Andrea about the conversation with Johnny, and she essentially says, you know, I know that I don't really open up to a lot of people in here. You've probably even noticed I don't really open up to the girls. But for me, I feel like I know I have this issue where I have a lot of trouble opening up to people. I know it's a me thing. I've had people in the past tell me that, but I'm just so guarded. Andrea basically is like, look, Johnny was extremely mature for being honest with you about what it is that he needs. So maybe you should really heed what he's saying and try to give him a little bit of a chance. It's a nice conversation. Obviously, Andreina is taking it into consideration. But again, the problem is that it is entirely too late in Johnny's head. But nighttime rolls around, and right before we have our nighttime shenanigans, Ty does pull Justine for another chat, and the two of them kiss. There's actually two big boxes outside, and all of the guys are running around looking for Ty, and he's in the speakeasy with Justine, and they find him. And they're like, whoa, what are y'all doing there? What are y'all doing here? But in either case, they kiss, and Ty is so happy that Operation Get My Lick Bag is going to plan. So these two giant gift boxes are in the backyard. Ariana is back, and she basically lets them know that America is going to be voting for the bottom girl and the bottom boy. However, there is a chance to save yourself. Essentially, there's two boxes here, and you can either choose to open the box and let this new bombshell in the box know that you want to pair with them, or you could choose to stay in your current couple. If you are in a vulnerable couple and the bombshell wants to pair up with you, you are now going to be safe. If you are in a safe couple and you choose to try to pair up with the bombshell and they say no, you are vulnerable. And if you choose to try to pair up with the bombshell and you're in a vulnerable couple and they say no, then you are still vulnerable. So everybody has to write down on their paper, are you going to open it or are you going to return to sender, aka stay? Let's get into these decisions. First up, we have Andrea. Of course, she chose to stay in her current pairing. Josh also chose to stay in his current pairing. Nicola chose to open, as well as Marvin. As we know, no real connection there. Lucinda chose to stay in her current pairing, as well as Isaiah. Garby and Kendall, they also choose to stay. I'm like, okay. Now, Justine chose to stay, but Tyreek chooses to leave.
Fuck off.
And as you know, that causes a whole bunch of hubbub. Tyreek tries to lie, talk about he didn't know which direction Justine was gonna go. He didn't even know if she was gonna open the box or not. Justine's like, you knew damn well that I was not going to open that box. You want to get me back? Okay, then. Anywho, we also go over to the safe couples. Sydney and Toby, they both choose to stay with each other. Andreina chooses to stay with Johnny. However, Johnny says...
Open the package.
that he is choosing to open. He once again has to give his big speech to the villa that he feels like since he's been with Andreina, it's been very surface level. There hasn't been a deeper connection. He feels like he's carrying them, and he goes on over there, and everyone is shocked. And to be honest, Johnny is doing too much. First off, you are in a safe couple. In what world does it make sense to get out of a safe pairing to possibly go for an unknown bombshell? It does not make sense. I'm not going to get into it because, as I said, if you watch Love Island, you know Johnny and how messy he is. So finally, it is time to open these big gift boxes, and we find out that it is Gabby and Casey from All Stars. They won All Stars, and they are also exes. So it is time for them to make their decision. There is no real decision for Casey because Nicola is actually the only girl that stepped up. So by default, the two of them are paired up, and Nicola seemed awfully happy. I'm like, okay, girl, that's your type, ain't it? No, nothing wrong with that, but she seemed awfully happy to be in that pairing. And we now have Gabby, who has 3 people that she needs to choose from, but she chooses to pair up with Johnny. And I'm like, okay. So we find out that the power couple, which is Sydney and Toby, they also get the opportunity to save one couple from the vote, or one girl and one boy from the vote. So Sydney chooses a boy, and the boy she chooses is Tyreek. And her reasoning for that is because Tyreek is Toby's bestie, and she just wanted to do something really nice for him. But she later feels quite guilty that she did not choose Marvin, especially because the two of them came in together. Now Toby has to choose a girl, and the girl that he chooses is Lucinda. So everybody else that was not chosen in either the game or chosen by the power couple is vulnerable. We did have a vote to see who is the boy and who is the girl that are going to go through a duel, or the 2 boys and the 2 girls that are going to duel for their lives. And let's get into episode 12 and talk about that. So post recoupling / game / whatever you want to call it, all of the girls are up in the dressing room and they are talking.
Seriously, don't even worry about it. These guys are running this game.
Yeah.
This just needs to be a wake-up call that
Sydney feels extremely guilty because she feels like Marvin might leave, and she really just wanted to make a decision because Toby and Tyreek are besties. Justine, 2-time winner. Justine, 1-time Love Island Games winner, finally says the boys are the only ones in this game that are actually playing strategically. They are the only ones that are thinking about that 250 thou wow. And I'm like, okay, I know that's right, Justine. I know that head is in the game, girl, because I was getting a little scared a couple of episodes ago. But I feel like that head is in the game now. She says that they need to start thinking like them. Tyreek played the F out of her. Andreina is also very upset because of Johnny and everything that he said to her, and the girls are again just encouraging her and letting her know, look, he's a jerk, he did his thing, he blindsided you, and there was no real reason to do it. But they are all pumping each other up, hyping each other up in the girls' room, saying that they need to play. And I'm like, you know what, at least Justine will play. Ty is telling the guys he's in a rut, but for him it was just so hard to know what was going on. Just the day before they were kissing, but the reason why he stepped up there is because he did it on principle. possible. And I'm like, Ty, if you don't shut your... Overall, though, all of the guys are worried about Gabby and Johnny. They keep talking about how Gabby is a unit, how the two of them are going to be unstoppable. And Johnny is filling Gabby in on how he was with Andreina, but again, there was no deeper connection. She was not good at the games. Again, what reason is there to stay locked in with her when she's not going to win anything and he's not feeling a spark there? But overall, he does tell Gabby that he is locked in with her to win the game. So Casey and Nicola are in the salties, as Casey calls it, and he's basically filling in Nicola on he and Gabby being exes. They won the game. They were together for 3 months, yada, yada. But overall, she is giggling. She is giggling. She is smiling from ear to ear. She is definitely really, really liking him. And he's really liking her. It seems like they have nice banter. Whether it develops into anything else, we will see. And Lucinda runs back downstairs and basically spills everything to Isaiah about what the girls were saying up in the dressing room about the guys and how they're being game players. But Isaiah is essentially reassuring her, look, you are safe. Don't even worry about it. You don't need to get your head all in a tizzy. Lucinda claims that a lot of these guys are her best friends, so that's why she wanted to tell him. And Tyreek tries again, because he's vulnerable this time, to apologize to Justine. But this quickly devolves into an argument about who was right, who was wrong, why would you do this to me? You did this to me yesterday. Why do I deserve this? Yada, yada, yada. The two of them both know that they need to be on decent terms for this game, but it is very, very clear that the two of them get very, very irritated by each other's antics and each other's actions. Justine knows that she has zero trust in him, despite the fact that they are still in a couple. But again, this is a wake-up call for her to start playing the game for real. And it's like, Justine, that is what I love to hear. I just want to see some action. You had a little slip up, but I know that Justine, Love Island Games Season 1 winner, would not throw her game in the trash like that. Garby and Kendall all kissy kissy, huggy huggy. Garby is happy that he made the right decision because she would have been crushed had it been something different. Sydney also does take the time to pull Marvin over and apologize for not saving him. Marvin is very, very understanding, but Sydney is extremely emotional about it. And again, gives the same speech about why, but Marvin doesn't be seeming to take it too much to heart. So morning comes around and Johnny decides to bring breakfast for both Andreina and Gabby, which I thought was interesting. Sydney and Toby have a conversation as power couple and they just discuss one, saving Tyreek. Sydney does let Toby know, look, I really wanted to do this for you. I really know it meant a lot for you. Then Toby discusses the fact that he and Casey actually had some blow-ups on All Stars and the two of them really got into it. So he is wondering if that beef is still going to be there. Johnny does pull Andreina and I'm wondering why we need to go through round 1001 of this.
I like you too.
Yeah, but I didn't switch on you, Johnny. I would never do that to you. Even if I feel like
Andreina essentially claims that she felt like she was extremely blindsided. Just one day ago, they had that conversation about how he felt, and she said, hey, I'm going to try to do better. And not even a day later, he was going to pair up with another bombshell. Johnny claims again that he has always been a gentleman. He never did anything wrong to her. So on his side, he feels fine with himself. He feels completely and totally okay. And Andreina's like, I am vulnerable. You didn't really care about me in this entire situation. Johnny really denies any accountability for this entire thing. And Tyreek, once again, he knows he has to continue his operation. So he tries to ask Justine how she's feeling, where her head's at. And Justine straight up is like, well, until I know if I'm going to be here or not, why does it matter how I feel about you or feel about anything? For Tyreek, he really wants to move on from this as soon as possible. And Justine's like, oh, so now that you got your lick back, you want to move on from this as soon as possible. Once again, Justine knows that she does not trust Tyreek, but again, the two of them are stuck in this couple, so it's really in between a rock and a hard place, because on a real life level, it's like, get this guy away from me, but on a Love Island Games level, I gotta be sort of cool with him. Andreina also pulls Gabby and lets her know, hey, look, I have no hard feelings towards you. Any kind of emotions you might have seen are all towards Johnny. I do not want to make you feel any type of way. Gabby essentially says, cool, I know for me, I'm going to obviously take my own look at Johnny and take my own look at the situation, but I'm definitely going to take into account all of the different things that you guys have said. At this point, Gabby just feels happy. It doesn't have to be so tense and so awkward in the girls' dressing room. Garby and Kendall continue to hype themselves up, continue to say, we're not going home. We can do this. We can fight this duel. We can do this all. They are all goody-goody now, and they are just trying to keep their heads in the game now that they are vulnerable. Gabby and Casey have a conversation, and they seem like they are on fine terms, but they're just discussing all of the different things that have happened. Gabby discusses how awkward it is. All the girls feel some type of way because of Johnny pairing up with her, them two pairing up. Casey's talking about Nicola and how he sees that Nicola is a pretty good competitor, so he will see where it goes there. But overall, Gabby is fully aware that everyone has told her not to trust Johnny. It is definitely in her head, but for her, she's gonna have to see until after the games, after they play a game together. So they get a text and they find out that the bottom two girls and the bottom two guys are dueling. Let's find out who it is. So it is Garby versus Andreina and Marvin versus Kendall. And whoever loses these duels is going to leave the villa immediately. And before the duel, Johnny is trying to hype up Andreina. He pulls her over and Andreina's like, why are you doing this now? Why are you trying to give me advice when you are the reason I am vulnerable? But nighttime rolls around and it is time to see whose stay is done at this villa. So basically, they are going to be blindfolded. They have bells all over them, and they have to try to pull these tags off of the other person's belt. So because they are blindfolded, they have to use the bells to try to help them locate where the other person is. Let's jump in. Garby versus Andreina.
Let's go, Garby! Come on!
Round one goes to Garby.
First two rounds, Garby wins. And I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. Is Andreina gonna get completely cooked again? You look at Johnny's face and he's like, oh, I made the right decision. But round three, Andreina pulls through. And I'm like, okay, is Andreina's head finally in the game? Is Andreina being completely vulnerable, not having the guy she wants? Is that finally the push she needs? And she actually wins round 4 as well. So we get down to round 5 and it's like, who's gonna do it? Who's going to do it? And honestly, the exact same time. To me, I could not tell at all who actually pulled this belt off, but at the same time, they pull the belt, but by slightly a little bit earlier, Garby does win, thus keeping her in the villa, and Andreina is donezo. And you know what? Andreina was very, very close in that one. I will give it to her. It definitely seems like she had that fire in her. Next up, we have Kendall versus Marvin. It is back and forth with the two of them. Round 1, Kendall swipes it, and I'm like, uh-oh. Now, one thing I noticed about Marvin is he's real tall, and he was going like this the whole time, so I feel like his center of balance was very, very off, because he actually falls down at one point, and Kendall is able to just grab the flag immediately. But round 2, Marvin wins, and then round 3, Kendall wins yet again, and that's where Marvin fell down, as I said. So we get to round 4, and it is Marvin, thus, again, leaving this last round, and it is Kendall. Kendall wins round 5, and then that means Marvin is going to be leaving the villa. Do you think Marvin threw it? Do y'all think Marvin threw it, or do you think really Kendall won fair and square? Because there's a part of me that felt like that Marvin wasn't really trying. I feel like Marvin was in there just like, doo-doo-doo-doo. So I don't know. But anyways, Kendall and Garby win. They are still in the villa, and it is time for Andreina and Marvin to leave. And both Andreina and Marvin, they do not leave this villa without giving a few words before they leave for Johnny. Both of them feel extremely betrayed by Johnny. Both of them feel like they were put into this position because Johnny randomly stood up. He had no real reason to stand up to recouple. And so the two of them feel like if it hadn't been for Johnny making that decision, that all of these people would not have been in this position. But ultimately, they do end up leaving, and Garby and Kendall live another day. But if you made it to this point of the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. Please consider joining the channel membership. It's like a little tip jar for the channel if you want to support the content just a little bit more. Thank you so much to every single one of my members. Thank you so much to every single person who is here and watches every day. And please, please, please consider engaging with the channel. Like the videos, put your hearts down in the chat, put your comments down in the chat. Do you disagree with me? Let me know. Okay, I love it when y'all disagree with me in the comments. If you're respectful now. We ain't gonna be calling no names and stuff. But let me know how you guys feel, and we will talk in a couple of days about the next 2 episodes. Bye!